Hi, I'm Margie Holmes, psychologist, author, and educator. Not so recently, you may recall the news about Heart Evangelista's parents and senatorial candidate Cheese Escudero. The different comments from everyone, some quite heated actually, made us feel that there's a lot going on there beyond showbiz and silly headlines. So here's the question. If you were Heart's parents, would you behave as they did? Ella Quintanar, I hate that Heart's parents made their distaste of Cheese so public. Couldn't they have washed their dirty linen in private? Trelly Marigsa agrees. Do it in the boundaries of your own family. Spare us the extra drama and spreading negative vibes in the country. Chanda R. Shahani, the kids should buzz off. They should stop interfering with Heart. Rather, the parents. Sorry, Chanda. Nancy Mencero, Heart is old enough to make decisions for herself. As parents, we're there to guide our children. Kung mag-fail yung relationship, we are there to support. Hindi yung magsisisihan. We can never shield our children from getting hurt in a relationship. Jeruel de Ramos Rivadeniera, Heart's parents were correct. Ayokong mag-asawa ang anak ko ng alcoholic. Pero kung matigas ang ulo ng anak ko, well, bahala na siya sa buhay niya. Nasa edad na siya, I can only guide her but not force her into what I believe. Much as I love her, I'd let her live her life para walang sisihan ng mandang huli. Joey Ramirez, this is a country that has institutionalized, in quotes, your elders know best. Whether in family matters, college courses, choice of spouse, and freedom of religion. Heart's parents are acting as if she is not an adult, needing to be shielded all her life. It's an insult to free will. Adult children are castigated as ingrata and disrespectful when they make choices that are not favored by the parents. If our citizens cannot make up their own minds, it's because we have culturally forced everyone to be infants for life, using guilt as a weapon. And that is why, perhaps, sometimes, elections are so difficult. And therefore, we are hoping here at Rappler, and we're trying to do as much as we can about it, so that we learn to use our brains and vote for the people we think are best. Sorry, inad ko lang yan, because it's very important, di ba? Edna Aquino, as a parent, setting aside the how of what they did first, I can sympathize with most of their concerns. Politician, alcoholic, legally still married. But slouching in the sofa and misinterpreting this as lack of respect, medyo sobra naman yan. Dito lumabas talaga ang class outlook nila. Plus how they did it, nanggigigil ako sa ginawa nila. Not so much on their current criticisms about Cheese, but their expose about their daughter's weaknesses. They expose their own loneliness behind the facade of being classy. Heart's fortitude and dignified response, hindi pagpatol sa ginawa ng ina niya, either shows deep love and respect for her parents despite of what they're doing, or a strength in character that she has developed in herself. This is courage considering the pressures brought upon her. So, Heart, I drink to you. Bu Chanko, don't hate the parents. People don't stop being parents just because their child turns 28. I expect to worry about my children if I think there is a reason to until the day I die. The child is free to ignore if that's what he or she wants to do. Marco Antonio Rodas, mas estado sa buhay ang pagtingin ko dito kung bakit nakialam ang magulang ni Heart. Kung struggling middle class kaya ang pamilya ni Heart, will they still do the same? Heno de los Reyes, it is in the mindset and culture of the Chinese that the parents carry the burden of raising their children until such time that they are married. This is why Heart's parents still continue to meddle in her personal affairs. Heart is not a minor anymore, but this is how traditional Chinese parenting has been for centuries. It may not be right or still relevant, but it's very difficult to shake off tradition. Tin, hindi naman ibig sabihin dahil 28 ka na, out ka na ng mga magulang mo sa buhay mo. Pero hindi dapat magkita ang magulang kahit sa ano paman. Magdikta, hindi magkita. Let's make the question more complicated. Are there other factors aside from age that help determine whether the parents have a right to try and control their children's decisions? Is there any situation where we can excuse, forgive, understand parents interfering with their children's love lives? Tanya Garcia says, I think nasanay ang parents niya na nag-interfere at usually sinusundan naman si Hart sa kanila. I believe that parents should learn when to let go sa mga anak, provided that the kids were raised well and hope for the best that they can solve their problems on their own. Usually naman, children run back to the parents kung talagang matindi na ang pinagdadaanan nila. Para kasing ang baba naman ng tingin ng parents kung ine-expect nila na they know what's best for their adult children. For me, may appropriate na reason for interfering, which is suspicion of domestic abuse. Baka for these situations, dapat may loving family na willing sagipin yung anak from the abuser partner. Edna Aquino, issues that I will definitely step in. Number 1, threats of domestic violence. Number 2, chronic gambling and debts and kung swindler yung lalaki. Number 3, criminal record or serial womanizer, nagnakaw sa kaban ng bayan. Also, let's remember that during elections, and signs of unrepentance or no signs of redemption. Edna Aquino adds, I must make sure I do my homework. This is potentially a life and death situation for my child. I must have solid evidence, and then I'll say, I trust that you are an intelligent person. I understand that you could be driven by love and passion, but just listen to me, just this once. Hindi na kita guguluhin after you have studied and weighed all these facts I've given you. Hindi kita susumbatan. I will not take it against you, whatever you decide. And if you decide to change your mind later on, I'm always here for you. No questions will be asked, and I promise, no blaming. That's a great, great way to say things, Edna. Thank you for this example. Tin says, factors to intervene aside from age, level ng maturity ng anak ko. Situation where you can excuse parents, culture. Tulad ni Hart, Chinese siya. Baka meron ng natanguan ang magulang niya para ipakasal sa kanya. Acceptable ways, I will share similar stories of people's lives to make her realize better what I'm trying to tell her. Tapos kapag ayaw niya pa ring makinig, I will rest my case. Nagawa ko na ang part ko kung anong dapat kong ginawa. Evangeline Valbuena, I will intervene if criminal act, whether my child is the victim or the perpetrator. Good point, Evangeline. I will always be there for my kids. I trust I have given them the boundary and the foundation to pursue their own lives. And now here is something from a name I cannot pronounce because it's written in Arabic alphabet-like spelling. Sa palagay ko, afraid lang ang mga magulang ko na nawala ako sa kanila. Alam ko, kapag nakita nila akong masaya ako sa piling ni Cheese, magiging masaya na rin sila sa akin. At kung magiging kalbaryo naman ang kahihinatnan ko kay Cheese, walang problema. I will remember my parents' advice na sana ay ganito. Alam namin, di namin mabibigay ang kasiyahang mabibigay sa iyo ni Cheese. Pero kapag di naka masaya, iwanan mo na lang ang kama niyo ni Cheese at pagagawang kita ng bago. You know, and that's a lovely way of saying it kasi light. Hindi ba minsan napakabigat ng sinasabi ng tao, ayaw mo tuloy silang sundan. Pero ito, the parents came across as very serious pero magaang. Now, in the end, things are never as simple as they seem because most situations here with the Heart and Cheese problem have so many other things connected to it. For example, there is what we already talked about, the parent-child boundaries, the difference between private and public, the different expectations of our cultural, social, and political realities, and finally, and most importantly, how parents must change as kids grow older. If you are fantastic parents when your children were 3 years old, that is wonderful. But that does not mean you will be fantastic parents when your kids are older, when they're 20, 21, 28, even when they turn 13, 14, 15. Because when your kids are 3 years old, usually, they expect you to tell them what to do. But when your kids become 16, 17, to be good parents, you also have to listen to them. Hindi na pwede yung dikta ka lang ng dikta. Or as Alma Martin says, when you get married in this country, you marry a whole barangay of relatives who feel they can interfere with your lives as husband and wife. However, if you are a good parent and your child is 13, 16, 18, you will know that no matter what anybody says, no matter if your entire neighborhood and your entire barangay tell you what to do, you will be steadfast and you will do what you think is best. Now, what I really want to talk about is how one's present relationship with one's parents, or with anyone, as a matter of fact, is a function of one's dealings with them in the past. The history of your relationship matters. That's why if you're wondering why your best friend no longer believes in what you say, it is probably because you've let her down. It is probably because you have not done what you said you have. And in Heart's situation, let us pick up what Rochit Taniedo says. Her folks lost credibility because they were blackmailing Heart with every relationship before Cheese. Mina Paras says, Heart's mom seems a controlling chomp. No, XXX. There are things I cannot say even in Rappler, which is so free. Okay, from Mina Parastil, I read she had a big fight with Heart's former manager, Annabelle Rama, with whom you can't trifle with or else hell breaks loose. No, now she accuses Cheese of trying to broker an agreement with another manager for Heart. Infantile Heart, maybe, as her mother says and tells the world that she is. Heart's parents are even more infantile. Sila ang may malaking problema. Seriously, what sane and loving mom would broadcast to the whole world that her daughter sleeps around? Effectively, this is what Heart's mom said, right? By talking about Heart in a certain way. And also, Heart's mom implied that sugar mommy sa Heart to her boyfriends. And Heart's mom also implied that Heart's mom actually did not only imply, but called for a press con. Paiyak-iyak pa siya. Aral yata kay Chris. They can't let Heart go. Sila ang immature. Heart is 28, for goodness sake. Thank you, Mina Paras. If Heart feels as Rochit Taniedo and Mina Paras do, then she may feel that they've been controlling her. Her parents have been controlling her all their lives and all her lives, and that no matter what she does, there's no pleasing them. She may feel that they will never change, that each time she does something that they don't control, they will make a fuss. So it may well be true that there's no pleasing them talaga. So Heart will think, or anyone will think, why even try? Actually, there's a term for this in psychology. It is called abulia. But we'll talk about this more in a future episode. In the meantime, what issues do you want to hear about on Ask Margie? What situations do you want our help in clarifying? Send me your suggestions, questions, and insights on Facebook, tweet using the hashtag AskMargie, or send an email to askmargie@rappler.com. See you next week.